It's on now. Absolutely. 2012. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Welcome to the 2024 annual meeting. I'm going to start off the meeting after our routine. First of all, I want to thank Rick for the stream here and for Al Asher for doing the recording. But we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance if everyone needs to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Okay, so this is our agenda for the evening. But at this point, I am going to turn the presentation over to Hope Carmichael. She is our attorney from Jordan Price, and she is going to be our partner tonight to take care of some preliminary business.
Some of you might have heard that I fell about a month ago and broke both of my wrists. So I consider this a testament to hand therapy that I was able to get the mic out with this one. So we are going to try, if we have a quorum, to approve the minutes from last year. We have at least 100 households who are here tonight. I'm going to ask Rick how many we have that are joining us by live stream. Rick, are we ready for that count?
Yeah,
159. So we do have a quorum established. And so that the people who are online and live streaming can participate, the way we are going to ask for approval of the minutes is if there are any objections, because it's a whole lot easier to count people objecting to something that's so perfunctory than it is people approving, particularly when Rick's trying to capture that in the comments. So if you are online and live streaming and you object to the adoption of the minutes, please indicate that in the comments. If you object to the approval of the 2023 annual meeting minutes and you're here in person, please signify by raising your hand. There are no objections from the audience. Rick, I'll give you just a minute to see if there are any objections online. Okay. And I will say that this will be the last you'll have to put up with me until the Q&A. So don't get worried that the parliamentarian has to run a whole lot of the meeting tonight. But There being no objection, the minutes of the 2023 annual meeting stand approved, Madam Chair. And I now turn the rest of the presentation over to you.
Okay, so at this time, I want to introduce our team. I'm Gail Albertini. We have Jennifer Godivis, who is our POA manager. Keep going one more. There you go. We have Hope Carmichael, who you just heard from. We have Tina McLam, Vice President. We have David Pfefferkorn, Director. We have Bob Rudy, Director. We have Steve Steinbeck speaking about stormwater today, but Les Pendleton couldn't be with us. We have Brian Joyner, who is going to talk to you about the Harbour Club. He's going to talk to you about the golf course and the point. And we have Kevin Heidel, who is our new treasurer. And we have Rich Miller down here, who is our retiring treasurer. And we have Rhonda Miller, our secretary. Okay, so we did that. Keep going. All right. Do we live in a great place or what? Hold on, folks. I gotta get out of it first. So I'm going here, and I'll go back here. Okay, now we're ready. Thank you. Thank you, Rick and Julie Phyllis, for that video. It was great. I'd also like to send out some more special thanks to Will Caudle and his team for setting up today. Yay, Will. Larry Basin and David Pfeffercorn for the sound equipment. Al Asher, yay, David, and the brutally hot this afternoon too. They did a fine job. Al Asher for the video. Rick Finlayson for the live streaming. Woo. All the volunteers who manned the front entrance. Yay. Terry Knickerbocker for the use of the stage. And our POA staff office, Jennifer Goditis, Kathleen Guich, Cindy Barker, and please welcome Beth Strange, our new administrative assistant. All right, so I've been in Fairfield Harbor about 20 years, and I've come to love the place. I'd like to know what you like about Fairfield Harbor. Morgan, what do you like about Fairfield Harbor the most? You just saw a video talk about all the great things that we have here. What's your favorite thing about Fairfield Harbor?
The beauty of it.
Let's give this girl a prize. Hey. Guy Greg, you haven't been here that long, but what do you think? What's your favorite thing about Fairfield Harbor so far?
That's really easy. My favorite thing is the people. When we made our decision to come here, we looked at a lot of places. We love the water, we love golf, but it was the people. Everybody waves, everybody says hi. A little different than Jersey. We're happy to be here.
Thank you. Give this man a prize. I know what y'all like about it. All right, let's see. Bob.
I don't know why I knew you were coming.
Yeah, I had you on my side.
Best thing about Fairfield Harbor are the neighbors.
The neighbors, all right. Okay, let's see. All right, here's a good victim. Sally, what do you think?
It's you, Gail. It's you. The natural beauty, the tranquility, just all of the amenities and smiling faces, happy people.
Excellent. I'll go for that. We're going to get you a special prize. How many do I have left? 2. One boy, one girl. All right, here's somebody who looks like he wants to talk. What do you like, Wayne?
Well, I've been here 23 years, and I think what brought us down was coming down with friends, and also you were surprised to see your family following you down with 2 or 3 other contingencies come down. But the overall layout, and I've been here 23 years, so I've seen quite a bit. And I came down initially because of the layout and the way everything was very accessible to us, near a small town, but not too close to us to a town. But the people themselves is what makes this place. So I'm sure that's the majority of the feelings of most people.
Yes, sir. I think so too. All right, let's see. Who wants to go next? Any volunteers? All right, Brenda, I see you volunteering. What do you think?
Not me.
I know what you like, line dancing.
I love line dancing, but I've also been here for 20 years and I like the fact that each year it gets better. The improvements are wonderful and I hope it continues.
Absolutely. Fantastic. All right. Yay. Is that it? Okay. All right. So now we're going to start the meat of our presentation. And we're going to start off with Tina McWham. But give me just a minute here to get our videos switched over. All right. Okay. I just got a little bit else to say. When I had the opportunity to run for the board of directors, I was unsure at first. I knew it was such a big responsibility. I stepped up because it seemed like after 20 years in Fairfield Harbour, it was my turn to be one of the many stewards in this amazing community. It was time to give back. And I do mean stewards. Did you know there have been 80 directors in Fairfield Harbour since 1982? And each of them contributed their time and talent and countless hours to serve Fairfield. Thank you to the former directors for your time and service dedicated to Fairfield Harbour. And yes, a director is a steward of sorts. Directors are people who are charged with the careful, responsible management of our community for an allotted period of time. And you, as the voting members, are our peers that voted for us and entrusted us with the management of Fairfield. But the board is here to serve as the community's voice and guide. As board members, our position is one of service, not control. New ideas and opinions are welcomed. They're not perceived as insults or threats. And as directors, we can't know everything. We have to rely on Jennifer and Kathleen as managers and hope for our legal advice, consultants, and committees. And the committee volunteers really run this community. Thank you to all the committee members who give so much of your time and talent to Fairfield, from Stormwater to safety and security, to PCC, to special events, to road gang. We have 13 different committees here and approximately 100 to 125 members at any one given time. Our volunteers personify community spirit. So please stand up if you're a committee member or a past committee member. Let's give these people a round of applause. Yay. But we need more volunteers. Our neighborhood is chock full of talented people from various walks of life. Some are retired, some still working. We have educators, seasoned managers in a variety of fields, financial planners, medical personnel, and more. We need volunteers in at least 5 committees, an election secretary, and how about a roving reporter for the Beacon? Julie and Rick Finlayson have done an outstanding job on taking our online newsletter to the next level, and the clubs contribute their articles, but we need more help. Wouldn't it be nice to have a roving reporter that went out and photographed and covered some of the events that we have here? So the Beacon and the Friday Update are 2 of our major communication pieces for Fairfield business. Please read them. But if you're interested in being a volunteer for some of these fun and rewarding positions, please stop by the POA office and leave your contact information. So Fairfield is run by volunteers. We're not a town with a massive staff of paid employees, but we are like a town in size and maintenance responsibilities. We sit on 2,000 acres with 36 miles of paved roads, more than 10 miles of golf courses, and golf course paths, an 18-hole golf course, 3,600 feet of seawalls, 2 marinas, and more. No county, state, federal, or grant money comes into Fairfield to maintain our sweet little spot here in eastern North Carolina. All Fairfield is maintained by dues and non-dues. So let's talk about the board's responsibilities. The board's fiduciary duty is to manage the financial affairs of the community. The board of directors is charged with the community's financial health by using effective management practices and sound business principles. Okay, I'm supposed to talk closer. The board paves the way for the committees to do their job. And the directors have a legal and ethical obligation to enforce the association's governing documents and abide by all applicable laws. So the board holds regular meetings as defined by the governing documents. Fairfield residents are always welcome to attend open meetings. Our boardroom is small, so please make sure you make a reservation so we can plan accordingly. Directors are always available to listen to suggestions or concern and answer any questions you may have. All right, so the homeowner's responsibility. When we move to Fairfield, you accept the contractual and ethical responsibility to abide by the established policies and meet your financial obligations. Your real estate agent or your closing attorney should have provided you with a copy or made you aware of the DORs, the Declarations of Restrictions, and the association dues. Most of these DORs involve just being courteous and considerate of neighbors and respectful of everyone's rights and investments in the community. These are the rules set forth by our governing documents and bylaws. These rules ensure harmony and respect for all residents. But we do strive for an effective balance between the preferences of individual residents and the collective rights of all the homeowners. So directors and residents should be reasonable, flexible, and open to the possibility and benefits of compromise, especially when faced with divergent views. And in Fairfield today, we do have a list of divergent views. One of the big items on that list is the Harbour Club. And I can assure you, when the Harbour Club will be one of the first agenda items once the whole new board is fully seated. But we can disagree, but we don't have to be disagreeable. When neighborhoods are safe and harmony exists, that boosts our property values. We have a great reputation of the place that we live. So Fairfield has its own history, personality, and challenges, but we want to see Fairfield Harbor regain its true sense of community. Building community spirit requires soliciting opinions and input of residents, but this dialogue needs to be respectful in an appropriate form, and it's not necessarily Facebook. Lately, Facebook and social media have damaged our community spirit. It's become toxic. It's not good for our emotional or physical health. Please, let's put an end to social media nastiness. Let's keep social media reserved for catching up with family and friends. If you have an issue, pick up the phone or make an appointment with a director or POA manager, review the situation, and have a solution ready to discuss. So make Fairfield Harbor the place you want to call home and where you feel at home, where you embrace community spirit. There's a difference between living in a community and being part of a community. Being part of that community means sharing with your neighbors a common desire to promote harmony, contentment, and community spirit. So let's embrace that sense of community spirit. Thank you. It's you, Tina. Go ahead.
You gonna do the slide? Catch it. Can you guys hear me? Yeah. I'm Tina McLam. I'm the liaison between the board and the Safety and Security Committee. And prior to being on the board, I was part of the Safety and Security Committee. So now I'm the liaison. You got the next one. Go ahead. Yep.
Um, the past accomplishments of the Safety and Security Committee, the number one to me is the speed limit was lowered from 35 to 30 miles per hour, with 25 miles per hour being the national residential standard. Maybe we'll get to that one day. The stop signs we added at Cara and Pelican, it's a three-way stop now, and it was intended for people to stop, even though I see people are not stopping. At least they're slowing down some. And as a matter of fact, one of our committee members, Don Simpson, ran a report, and from May 2023 to May 2024, he captured all the speeders at 40 miles per hour and above. And in 2023, there were actually 462 speeders with a high speed of 57 miles per hour. Yep. And 2024, there were only 58 speeders with a high of 48 miles per hour. That's great. So speeding, thank you. Speeding was reduced by 86% and lowered the top speed by 9 miles per hour. And we're very proud of that and hope to do better. The stop sign over at Coral Reef and Royal Pines was moved so that the people coming through the gate would not get stuck at the gate. So it moves more freely now. And that seems to be working well, I've heard. Let's see. They contracted with a new security company, Sun States, and updated the SOP standard operating procedures and the gate procedures. We want to try to capture everybody that comes through that gate. And I don't know if you've noticed, but they're getting a little more strict on people coming and going. And we need that to keep our community safe. And we need to know who's coming and going. Let's see. Bless you. Bless you. For this coming budget year, we plan, or the Safety and Security Committee, I still feel like I'm part of it, even though I'm the liaison. The plan is to upgrade security cameras with newer technology. Our radio frequency, I couldn't say it, radio frequency identification, or RFID, is going to be used to identify people or objects, and it's going to be used at the main gate and all the other gates. So the long range readers at the gates can actually read the sticker that you're going to get for your vehicle from 6 to 8 feet out. The new technology is advanced cameras, and we're going to get more of them so we can look at places like Red Hill Park, the Point, where we don't have cameras right now. All the activities will be recorded, and people coming through the gate will be recorded so we can track pretty much everything. And one good thing is with this is that we can lock and unlock doors with remote access. So if somebody wants to go to the activity center, the POA manager or someone can just unlock it with their phone. All gates except the main gates will have an intercom or QR code. And the fiber optic and security camera company are working together to make this happen. And I understand that once the contract is signed, it'll be about 30 to 40 days after that when this will be implemented. And that's all I have. I'm proud of their accomplishments.
So yeah, just let David take the, yeah.
I'll take things in my own hands. Good evening, everybody. Everybody warming up? My report is with the Birdland Marina and the shoreline seawall repairs that we've done.
The Birdland Marina was completely rebuilt using much heavier lumber, and we're using the decking was made out of the cement hog slat material, which we replaced 3 docks at our place up at Pamlico Beach, and now we went to hog slats, and we've gone through 3 hurricanes with no problem. So we won't have that problem again. The water comes right up past them. No matter how high the water gets here, if it's like Florence again, the docks will still be there, which is a wonderful thing to be able to have. The supporting part of the few rotting pilings we had were removed and replaced. Much heavier lumber is on the thing. If you see the picture there, you can see the lumber that going out surrounding the hog slats is very heavy, and the docks are built to last. As far as the seawall is concerned, we have 400 feet of seawall, 430 or 450 feet of seawall was repaired using very heavy vinyl material. That was been then backfilled and then gravel filled and all that. So you can see from the pictures here that it's a very nice look that we've got, and it's going to last. It won't cave in. We still have a lot of work to go. If you can see the other pictures that we've got there, the seawall that's remaining, we've got about 3,000 feet of seawall. So we've still got some work to go, and that's going to be scheduled probably starting November, December of next year, or this coming year. But we think we're very happy with what we're doing, and we're going to be starting on the shoreline marina. That construction will probably start around November, December as well. And we're going to make the shoreline marina just like the Birdland Marina. We're going to use the hog slats. And so again, that'll be much less of a maintenance issue in the future. But we look forward to having a wonderful boating season with our new marinas, and you'll be able to enjoy the seawall without having to stand at the edge of the water without having to worry about falling in. And that's my report. I'm sorry, I left out my enhancement committee report. We had the signs that we have up around the harbor. 75% of them are completed right now. The billboard attracts a lot of new golf members there. You've seen our new billboard out on 55. Soon we'll have that 55 lot leased out to a going business. We'll be able to make some more revenue out there. But right now we've noticed that a lot of new golfers have come to the golf course now. They say they didn't realize there was a public golf course here. They're riding by on 55 and they just see our new sign, and we've increased our golfing interest in the golf course tremendously since that sign's gone up. And Kevin, when he gives his report, he'll show you that our revenue from the golf has certainly risen in the past months. As far as the new banners are concerned, I'm sure you've seen them on the entrance. We've had the Road Gang, the Castaways, the Quilters, and the Fairfield Harbor Course banners are up now. And since those have been up about a month or so, we've now gotten 2 more orders, 2 more interest for 2 more orders of more banners. And so we'd like to see all 65 clubs here have their own banner out there, so we can just have flags all the way around this place. It'd be great. That's my report.
My name is Bob Rudy, and I'm the liaison with the roads and streets. This past year, you can see on the screen, we've done some paving, some repairs and things. Next year, this year, we're going to be working on golf cart paths 1, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, and 18. We'd love to do them all in 1 year, but realistically, the money's not there. So each year we will do them until they're all completed, to include the walking trails on the old golf course. This year, rather paving, we might get into the Gondola Peninsula and over at Brigantine, depending on what's available. And we have to work with Stormwater so that we don't fix it and then they have to tear it up. So we haven't blown our whole budget. We've saved some, but there is more to do. Next slide. Okay, am I doing this one? Okay, the golf advisory panel, they've done some changes and we're trying again to get more people from outside the harbor to spend money in our place. Sorry about the list. I broke my teeth. They're being repaired. But there's this electronic tracker that they use on the tournaments, which makes it more popular for the golfers. I don't understand how it works because I'm not a golfer, but they like it. There's rack cards in town in different places to promote this golf course. Banners at the clubhouse. We've set up systems where from other golf courses, they come here, we go there, and it's a discount rate. The idea is get them to play our course and maybe they'll like it better. And of course, the social media stuff, we're trying to get moving there too. Again, promotions to try to bring more golfers to our golf course so we can get more money that's not dues money. Stormwater's next.
Good evening and welcome to a little brief presentation of the Stormwater Committee. I'm a substitute for a substitute, so I'm a third stringer, so be patient with me. I'm just an old retired geologist that used to do consulting all over the state of North Carolina. And I first came here in 1978, so I have a little history back here. I was dealing with things like groundwater, wastewater, and a little bit on water supply. And they tried to see if we could get sewage in the ground. And I said, no, hell no. It won't work because of multiple reasons. You've got soils that are hydric, wet soils. You've got a high groundwater. You've got some soils with clay, some with organic. So the natural resource that has drawn all of us here is also the challenge for managing stormwater. So we're faced right off with water tables that are just slightly above the river level. And water tables go up and down, as you know, like a sawtooth curve based on research we've done over the years. But the interesting thing is we don't have relief. That's the difference in elevation or topography. We don't have it. We're relatively flat. If we get a 1% grade, we're tickled to death. That's why your golf course is sculpted the way it is, because they have to have drainage. We don't have a system of ditches. And I want to emphasize this one point if you get nothing out of this presentation. Those are not drainage ditches. Those are wastewater management systems. Some are swales, some are temporary retention basins. So many times we have to retain the water on site or along the roadways or property lines until it can infiltrate and go down into the groundwater. So it's all groundwater fed. And that's a beautiful thing. Being an old geologist, you put water in, you take water out. And all of us drink from the Castle Hayne aquifer. Yeah, it's got a little calcium and magnesium in it, but with a little treatment, it's not too bad. But that's the important thing to remember. So you are responsible as homeowners for maintenance of the drainage that's on your property. Most of us, not all, have a swale along the front property line parallel to the roadway. Some of us have swales along property lines. In fact, we're seeing more and more of that, and they've got to be maintained by private individuals, their own homeowners. We get a little bit of money in the budget each year to do some repairs, and we're decades behind in doing that very item. We went, I hate to say how many decades, at least 30 that I know of, and there was little or no maintenance done. So we have a number of Can you hear me now? I'm sorry. It's ringing in my ears so bad, I'm gonna have to take these out. I can hear myself. I know you could, I'm sorry for that. I apologize. Okay, so we have some money for repairs, and I think there's a distinction we need to make between maintenance and repairs. Maintenance is the owner's responsibility. You mow it, you keep debris out of it, you keep sedimentation from accelerating into your swale, and you also need to occasionally clean out your drain under your culvert under your driveway. Where we come in with repair, and that's different from maintenance, is when there's been significant subsidence of the swale, where we have to go in and reestablish the invert of the swale so to get more storage. The good thing about a dry spell, the water table's down. So we're not going to have flooding anytime soon. The groundwater is significantly down right now, and it's all caused us a little angst with our grass, but that's not a bad thing. You'll get deeper roots and then come back. Let me give you an update of some things that the club meets once a month, but the work does not start there. It starts. Every month we have a meeting that lasts about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And this committee is Ray Redness. Ray could not be here tonight because he's at this very moment on his way to Bermuda. Ray's international sailing judge, so he's on his way to Bermuda via Charlotte. And the liaison for this committee, who is my old roommate, is the reason I'm here, and my wife, is Les Pendleton, and Les is the liaison to our committee, and he's also out and traveling. So let me give you a brief update of what we've been up to, and it's going to be just a summary. The biggest thing we've done this past year, and it's something that I started working on a few years ago, and that is developing a two-tiered permit for land development. We're now at the point of seeing land and property that for residential development that is more challenging. By that, I mean most of the good lots, the high dry lots are gone and developed and improved. There are lots that have remained for whatever reason haven't been built on. Many times it's because of high water table or it's a depression. So those lots require significant enhancement. And that could mean more swales on sidelines. It could mean bringing in fill. And unfortunately, that means cutting down more trees because trees don't like fill material. You cover a tree with about a foot of soil, it's killing the root system, it cuts the oxygen off and they die. Now, if y'all love pine trees, welcome to the plantation. I despise pine trees. I like them as a woodworker, but I don't like them around my house, and I damn sure don't like them along the driveway. You know why? Because now I got to get that darn sap off of it again. Okay, so what we've done is look at land development, then look at permitting for the building sites. So now what the committee gets in, the Stormwater Committee goes in and looks at the land, what's going to have to be done as far as improvements by the builder. And we get that done before we give an approval to the PCC for a building permit. That's been a big improvement. And thanks to coordination with the POA office, Jennifer and Kat and others, that system is now working well. It's not perfect. We still have to do a few things, but trying to get the land improved correctly and meeting all of the conditions before the building permit was absolutely a necessity, which is now in place. Once those improvements are done, then the Stormwater Committee will give a certification for land development to the PCC. So now that has a stopgap. In other words, they don't get a building permit until the builder has made those required improvements. A few of the stormwater accomplishments is we regraded the swale on Santo Domingo Court. was long overdue. We're doing some research on the Gondolier Peninsula. That's been ongoing for a while, and that's going to continue. And then regrading the culvert restoration on Crooked Creek. And I would add that we have numerous customer owner contacts. If you have an issue with your swale, or have a question about anything related to drainage, call the office. Don't call me. Call Jennifer or her staff. They'll make sure we get involved. They're very good about, hey, Steve, I got a call from somebody down the street from you on Royal Pines. Can you go check it out? We do that. So most of our time is done in the field, looking at sites, visiting with property owners, and working on enhancing our challenging drainage issue. By the way, I see Maury back there. He's on our committee, and he brings a great amount of historic and institutional. Stand up, Maury. He's still contributing after all these years. Every committee needs somebody with institutional memory. That's one of the problems with our board. We don't keep institutional memory. It's 3 years, you're done, you're gone. So Maury and people like him that stay on committee for multiple years help us, because we say, oh yeah, we did that 5 years ago. All right, so some of the work is planned. This is not all, but this is what's in the pipeline now. Going to be a culvert replacement on Coral Reef and Barking Time with some maintenance. By the way, I'd add that whoever said corrugated steel pipe will last forever needs to come to Fairfield Harbour and do an inventory. They're all having to be replaced. Right now, some have collapsed, others are in the phase of being collapsed. So if you see depressional areas over your roadway, call the office. That could be part of a collapse. Now, I know some of us relate to water and sewer distribution, but our culverts that are made out of corrugated steel have to be replaced, no questions. That requires cooperation with the Roads and Streets Committee, because we don't want them to pave over a pipe that's got to be replaced. So we coordinate with them. So there's 5 road replacement culverts that are going to be replaced, cleaned, and regraded with new outlets and retention weirs on Gondolier Drive, Trade Winds, Blue Cove Reef Road before paving. And I say that before paving, not after paving. I hate it when they get that construction sequence mixed up. And then we had a real challenge on our hands in our neighborhood. We got to find some solutions for drainage issues along the Harbor Point Drive area. That's a real challenge, and we got to work with the golf course folks too on that. So that's and another condo project down there. Long term, again, I've mentioned all corrugated pipe has to be replaced. Homeowners are responsible. Please remain your responsibility. If you have an issue, call the office. We will respond. I promise you, we will respond. And again, enjoy life on the river.
Is this mic working? Okay, we're on. All right, I'm Gail Albertini, and I'm going to talk to you about a few things. Fiber. And so we have Host America here tonight. They are giving out the water, and that's a good thing, huh? Thank you, Host America. But anyway, Host America is with a partner, or partners with them on the Fairfield Harbor Network. It's the utility that we own. I got one more. One more. Back up. Okay. Back up. One more time.
Sorry.
Okay. So what this means is we're going to have, first of all, I'd like to give Phil Hewitt credit for this. He is the one that brought Harbour to this community. So all the credit goes to Phil for this. And basically, fiber is the new utility. In the old days, it was sewer and water. Okay, I know a very wealthy man in Jacksonville who moved to an area that didn't have any water or sewer, and he started his own company. He started his own utilities. And that's what we have an opportunity to do here, is start our own utility with fiber, because you can't do without internet anymore. That's for sure. Okay, that's all. So we own this utility. The basic package is $119.99 per month plus taxes and government fees, with the internet speeds up to 300. We have 72 cable stations, and the extras like HBO and premium channels are a la carte. But this is also unlimited calling. So anyway, you can sign up for the early bird special. Hosted America is here tonight. There's 3 months free service, no installation cost. You can also, Jennifer's reminding me, you can look on the handy little water bottle that they're giving us and pick up this QR code and go straight to their website. And you can sign up there. And it starts today, June 26th. So there's 72 channels of video lineup plus for the bulk package. But there's also going to be a communities channel. And this is where we're going to be able to broadcast special events, use for updated news. We can stream the annual meeting and the budget meetings and even board meetings if we choose. Okay, so that's a good thing. Let's hear it for fiber. So these are the different phases. You can take a look at this. You can tell what phase you're in. What phase are we on now, Rick?
Like it's five.
We're on 5. We're on phase 5. So we're moving quite along here. Okay. And the construction has completed on phases 1 and 2. So we'll continue to provide you with updates as we make progress. Okay. All right. The next committee that I've been the liaison with is the road gang. So the road gangs are the people that go out on Broad Creek Road and pick up all the trash. They're great. You see these volunteers? Yay! You see these volunteers in yellow and orange jackets collecting trash on the roadsides and keeping our roadside clean. They have been doing this for 25 years, and there's over 26 members. So there's 7 miles on Broad Creek Road from News Realty to Highway 55. They do that monthly. There are 32 different sections, and the volunteers for each section take some take more than one section. For example, the Rock and Gas take like 5 sections. But inside Fairfield Harbour, they do News Realty to Marina Drive weekly. We like them so much that they were the Grand Marshal in last year's parade. And here's some other pictures of some of our road gang. Okay. All right. The next committee that I'm responsible for is special events. Wow, do we love these people. This is the lineup of special events for this year. We started out with the Bears. We had Dock and Roll. We have beach music with DJ Fred. We have the parade coming up, 4th of July parade, scavenger hunt. The Bears are coming back. We have the chili cook-off, cornhole tournament, trick or treat, POA holiday parade, and a popular one that started last year is Deck the House decorating contest. So here's our team. This is for the Alex Williams, but this is over in the Inner Harbor. You can see people come by golf cart, boat, drive, no matter how they come. All right, so this one is Trunk or Treat. That's very popular for the kids. This is 4th of July parade, very colorful. Okay, this was the scavenger hunt. That was new, but it was a big hit too. The next committee that I have is the rotating art at the Point. Each quarter, the art changes in the Point restaurant, and the artists from Fairfield Harbour can display their art. It's a small, like 10%. They give us 10% back on anything they sell, and we sold about 15 pieces of art today, so that's pretty darn good. Here's some of our artists and some of our art that was displayed. Okay. Next up, we have Brian Jarner.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. And Jennifer asked me to speak to this because we have so many events and things going on at the golf course and the restaurant. And I just want to make you all aware of what's going on. But first off, just a review of the first quarter finances. I'm not going to bore you with a ton of numbers. But I looked back a few years and some numbers kind of stood out to me. So back in the year 2020, COVID year, that's kind of where golf started taking off. Everything was closed. The only thing you could do was go outside and play golf. So golf really started taking off in the COVID year. The first 3 months of that year, we did 4,223 rounds, and that equaled $33,861 in greens fees. And I really focus on rounds and greens fees because obviously the more rounds you have at the golf course, the more your driving range sales are going to increase, the more your pro shop sales are going to increase. So the more people you have coming out, it helps everything else across the board. This past year, we had 4,808 rounds through the first 3 months, and we were at $53,952. So a big increase there. And I think we're off to the best start that we've ever been in so far in 2024. We are currently at 5,269 rounds and $71,163 in greens fees. So again, that's a 115% increase since 2020 and 31.5% increase over last year. So golf is doing really well this year. Some contributing factors to that. Obviously, we've had to do a price increase. I think inflation's hit us across the board. Just like with anything else, it costs more to run the golf course, and we've had to pass that cost along. But we're still under what Carolina Colors charges. We're still under what the Emerald charges. Their basic greens fee is going to be $65. We're still in that $55 range, right along par with Riverbend and Minnesota, but those courses are charging. We've had really good course conditions this year. Chris Dunn and his team, the superintendent, have done a fantastic job. Golf course is probably the best shape it's ever been in. So big shout out to Chris Dunn and his team. We've had increased marketing efforts. We've been doing email blasts. We've been doing Facebook posts. The billboard, I got a good story about the billboard. So last Monday, you might have noticed I put a $20 play after 4 p.m. special on the billboard at 8 a.m. By 4 p.m. that afternoon, we had 6 people come out and take advantage of that 4 o'clock special. Thought that was pretty neat. I checked today, and it's been a week and a half now. We've had 54 people come and take advantage of the $20 after 4 p.m. special. So just right there, that's $1,080 that we wouldn't have had if we didn't do that special. So I think that billboard will definitely pay for itself over time. That's, like I said, just a week and a half of running a special. Mr. Broody mentioned that we're doing advertising in the Taverna and community newspapers. And we've definitely seen a big increase in reciprocal play from members of other golf courses coming to play us. And then lastly, a contributing factor is the weather. Obviously, it hadn't rained in 3 months, so you can play golf when it's not raining. It's hard to play golf in thunderstorms. The restaurant financial numbers, so far in 2024, we've done $89,245 in food and $52,649 in beverage. Not quite where we want to be, so June's numbers have been picking up quite a bit, so they seem to be promising. We have been able to cut down on our expenses by keeping trivia and music bingo in-house now. We've kind of taken music bingo off on Fridays. We're kind of doing the fish fry on Friday now and kind of thinking that's more of a date night. I'm trying to do one night without the music there. But if you haven't come to the restaurant lately, Chef Ben's been with us for about 4 months now. He makes incredible food, as you can probably tell by my gut. And come try us because the food that he makes is really good. Obviously, any suggestions or concerns that you have about the restaurant or golf course, you can always come and talk to me about it. You'll probably find me at the golf course. Golf club events. We have quite a few charity tournaments that we've been doing lately. We had the Journey of Hope Golf Tournament that took place this past Saturday, June 22nd. It was a joint effort between the Emerald Golf Club and us. Their LGA basically asked our LGA if we'd like to host the tournament alongside with them. And our Ladies Golf Association really stepped up to the plate. Jackie Heiss, big shout out to her, Cheryl Furman, the money that they took on, all the printouts that they've had to do, the mailings, they've really stepped up to the plate big time for that tournament. They've ended up raising tens of thousands of dollars. I hadn't got the total dollar amount yet. but it's in the tens of thousands of dollar range. All those proceeds are going to be staying here in New Bern, and they go to that SECU Cancer Center right here at the hospital in New Bern. Our community was awarded with the It Takes a Village Award for providing financial support to cancer patients and their families in time of need. So if you've helped out in any way for the Journey of Hope tournament, thank you so much. It's really helped out the community. So thank you for that. Also, our own Jimmy Adams, golf pro over here in the front. We participated in the Driving Out Parkinson's charity event this past Monday. By himself, he raised $850 to donate to the Bite Box Project, which helps give local Parkinson's patients services like gym and exercise equipment. This organization has a gym here in New Bern that works with Parkinson's patients almost every day from 9 to 2. And I told Jimmy I'd give him $1 for every hole he played, thinking there's no way he'd make it past 18. Somehow he made it 100 holes. So good job, Jimmy. I can't believe you're here tonight. If that was me, I'd probably still be in the hospital today. We've been doing, we have 4 main tournaments now that Mr. Bruni talked about. These are our member-only signature events. It's our member tournament, our club championship, our match play event, and our member guest. Tom Caruso has been helping us out with the stat tracker for these tournaments, and we're kind of considering our majors. The members that win these tournaments get put in our Hall of Fame. Their name goes up on the plaque, and it really is a big deal to win those tournaments. So it's awesome to have those tournaments this year. We've been doing couples events. This past month, we've had a couples poker golf tournament. Shout out to Jeff and Betsy Paul for winning the couples poker with a pair of aces this past month. Each month, we're going to do a couples event. We're going to keep it very light and fun, not super competitive. Just come out, enjoy the camaraderie, play a little golf while you're here. So be on the lookout in the Friday update for those couples events. We've also been running a lot of various fun events, including the St. Paddy's Day dice game. We're getting ready to host the flag tournament coming up here on July the 4th. We've done a turkey trot tournament that's right around Thanksgiving. And then this past year, we've done a Super Bowl scramble that took place during the Super Bowl. We also have a lot more events to come. We plan on doing a Beat the Pro event. And also I've heard about night golf that was done here in the past. So I think there's going to be plans in place to bring some night golf back. So I'm looking forward to that. The Point Restaurant events, our monthly trivia. So we do trivia on the first Wednesday of the month. I want to give a shout out to Team Diehards. They won the Progressive Pot this past month and won $250 in cash. So great job, Cindy Pellegrini. I see you back there. To win that Progressive Pot, you have to get 8 answers right out of 10 of the Progressive question. The question this past month was you have to name the top 10 dog breeds in America. And I promise it's a lot harder than it sounds. We've been running a prime rib and piano, which is a low country boil is going to take its place over the next couple of months. That's going to be on the 3rd Wednesday of the month for that low country boil. It's basically peel and eat shrimp. It'll be a $30 seafood buffet. Again, so that's going to be the 3rd Wednesday of July and August. We've been doing monthly music bingo. So instead, like I said, on Fridays, we're going to be doing that on the 2nd and 4th Wednesdays. And Gus, our food and beverage manager, will be running that event. We're still doing live music every Thursday night at the Point Restaurant. We saw a Boomerang that plays. Then we have the Bears coming up tomorrow night. I know they're a big hit. So if you like the Bears, come out to the Point. They start at 7 p.m. tomorrow. But basically every Thursday night, we're doing some live music. We'd like to have some more musicians that play in the community. So if you play an instrument, want to perform at the Point, come see Gus or myself, and maybe we can get you on schedule. Sunday brunch has also been picking up. We kind of do like a omelet bar for the Sunday brunch, and that's been very popular. And then also Saturday breakfast. You might have seen a survey that's going around. Just trying to figure out what we want to do with Saturday breakfast. It hadn't had a huge turnout. So we're still analyzing that survey to see if we want to keep breakfast on Saturday. It seems like a lot of people in this community are like me and just have a bowl of cereal in the morning and call it breakfast. So that's fine too. Player development. Our big issue this year is trying to get more people in the community that are non-golfers and turning them into golfers. So once a month, you might have seen in the Friday update, we've been running free beginner clinics. And we usually have 10 to 15 people that have come out to these beginner clinics. They don't have any golf clubs. We provide all the clubs, the golf balls, the tees. We go out, teach them the fundamentals. And it's just something about hitting that golf ball, seeing it fly through the air. And golf can basically sell itself. It's a very fun game. The camaraderie is great. Golf is a great game. If you don't play, I highly recommend signing up for that monthly beginner clinic. Also, a big focus of ours this year is junior camps. Jimmy's got a junior camp going. I've seen a lot of kids in the community, but I've not seen a lot of kids at the golf course. So that's one thing we're trying to change. We're going to get some kids out there and run some fun junior camps for them. The Eastern North Carolina Junior Golf League, we do have a team playing in that this year. Our own Michael Hodge came in second place last week in the first event. So great job to Michael. And then we're also hosting the West Craven High School golf team, the men's golf team. We are basically playing as the host course for West Craven High School. Last thing I got is the pool update. It's been open since April 22nd. Currently, I was kind of shocked at the revenue that the pool generated. We're at $4,789 right now over the 2 months. We do have plans in September to close right after Labor Day, and we're going to be resurfacing the pool. So just wanted to make everybody aware of that. Again, that's all I have. Thank you, guys. If you need me, I'll be at the golf course. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. At this time, we're going to move into our financial section of the meeting. But first of all, I'd like to acknowledge and thank Rich Miller for all his many years, over 6 years as our treasurer and board member. So let's give Rich a round of applause. Rich swears he's really retiring this time. But what has happened is we have really, really lucked into a wonderful new financial guy, Kevin Haydell. Yay, Kevin. Kevin comes to us from New Jersey Department of Community Affairs, Trenton, New Jersey. He's a deputy director and Division of Local Government Services. He is an accomplished professional with over 38 years of experience in management, administration, accounting, financial control, support operations, business technology, application development, and reporting. He demonstrates strength in administration, analysis, communication, cost containment, reduction, problem solving, project management, supervision, and strategic planning. This is a real numbers guy. All right.
Thank you, Gail. Good evening, everyone. As Gail said, my name is Kevin Haydell. I've been a property owner along with my wife, Linda, since 2016. We built our retirement home in 2021 and moved here in 2022. I've now been treasurer for roughly 2 months. I got a fairly long presentation, so bear with me. I got to try to hold the mic, hold a pointer, and read my notes at the same time. I could actually use 3 hands. All right, can everybody see that? There we go. All right. Now, can you see it? All right. I basically have 3 goals to look at here. And my goals are to provide the property owners, okay, with basic understanding of Fairfield Harbor's financials. And how I'm going to do that, I'm going to examine 3 parts of Fairfield Harbor's profit and loss statement. All right, they include revenue or gross income, labor and operations expense, and then you're going to have interest, taxes, and depreciation, and then I'm going to wind up with a summary. The second part of my presentation is I'm going to do a comparative analysis between fiscal year 2020 and fiscal year 2023. All right. Now, this is not going to be apples to apples. All right. 2020 was a COVID year. All right. So you're going to see, a lot of the revenues were down. The good news is that golf rounds picked up a lot in that year. All right, but I want to make a comparison because my goal is to show you where your dues money is actually going. All right, we have roughly 80 revenue accounts,
190 expense accounts, and 20 interest and reserve accounts, for a total of 290 accounts. Through those accounts, all right, roughly every month, there are 2,000 transactions. Now, being an accountant, all right, every transaction has two entries. You have your debit and your credit. All right. So in actuality, you have 2,000 entries going through the financial system every month, but it actually represents about 1,000 entries. So on an annual basis, you have 24,000 entries or 12,000 transactions that pass through this account. All right. Next slide, please. All right. What I have up here is a fiscal year profit and loss statement for 2023. And we're going to concentrate on gross income, total labor and operational expenses. And then you're going to have earnings before interest, depreciation, and amortization. And then you're going to have your interest expense, depreciation, and amortization expense. All right. And as you can see from this slide, if you look right here, our net income came out to $37,000 for the year. Next slide. All right, so let's take a look at gross income. All right. First of all, our golf course income, which comprises of green fees, pro shop, and food and beverage. All right, we were short on income about $123,000. Our cost of sales, okay, in the pro shop, food and beverages was under budget by $21,000. All right. Now, cost of sales. All right. What is cost of sales? Cost of sales are what you purchase. All right, at a wholesale price. All right, resell it, and that includes shipping costs as well. All right, so on the estimate, we were $21,000 to the good on that. All right, we have golf and marina dues income shortage of $36,000. Some of that was because the Birdland Marina was closed for 3.5 months, so it didn't generate any revenue while they refurbished the marina. On POA dues income, we were short about $23,000, but we still have a 99.3% collection rate. Right. Our non-dues income, such as lot mowing fines and admin fees, all right, were over budget, all right, by $47,000. And our miscellaneous income, we were short roughly about $10,000. Our miscellaneous income, our sales of, what they sell, visors, mugs, hats, shirts, or whatever, they sell in the office. Right. The second part of the presentation here is we're going to concentrate on our total labor and operational expenses. Next slide. All right, so when we look at labor and operations, our labor costs were $83,000 under budget, and that includes the golf, our general expense, our maintenance, and food and beverage. All right. However, when you take a look at food and beverage, all right, we were $93,000 over budget. All right. And I don't want you to be alarmed by that number. All right, because all right, when you budget, it takes years to develop that budget, and it keeps developing. All right, so in here, all right, what makes up partial of that $93,000 is that we charge an expense for golf management fee for $34,000 that wasn't budgeted in that line. You have building maintenance, all right, that was $10,000. That was budgeted in the overall general and administrative expense. Our propane costs, I believe we budgeted $1,400, all right, but as the bills came in, and this is for the restaurant, the propane was $14,000 over. Kitchen supplies was over $10,000, and our entertainment was over about $15,000. But again, you're looking at these numbers, and what I just mentioned to you about the total operational costs, we were still $2,000 under budget. You can't get any closer than that. Next slide. All right. Okay, the third one. Wait, can you go back a minute? No, that's okay. Stay there. Go back again. Sorry. No, next slide. All right. The third part I'm going to be talking about here okay, is our total interest, depreciation, and amortization expense, which you can see that we're 218,000 to the good here. All right. All right, so let's take a look at that. Our other interest income, income was about $14,000. All right, we have interest expense on capital leases and loans, which was over $10,000. Our depreciation and amortization on equipment was $44,000 under budget, and our bad debt was under about $93,000, and our capital improvement and reserves was under about $90,000. So when you add all that up and put the whole profit and loss statement together, all right, we are to the good $37,000. All right, so let me summarize fiscal year 23 for you. Our gross income, all right, was down about $125,000. Okay, you could tie some of this to April and May golf rounds, which are down by about 1,000 due to bad weather and 2 microbursts. All right, this is an area that we need to continue promoting membership, public play through advertising, promotion, and events. All right, the second piece, the 93,000 over budget, as I mentioned, all right, that's more of being able to align our budget, okay, with where we're charging the expense. All right, so we need to continue fine tuning the budget to align the budget amount to the expense amount. Our total labor and expenses, as I mentioned, was under budget by $2,000. All right. But in that, we had $42,000 over budget. All right. And the reason for that is because we are doing the budget from October to January. The bill does not come in until March. All right. So you can't really predict what your insurance is going to be. And I can personally attest to that because I just received my new homeowner's insurance that went up 10% and my flood insurance that just went up 17%. All right. So you don't budget for big increases like that. All right. All right. And again, we suffered 2 microbursts. It cost us an additional $50,000, which we were over budget on in our general and administrative expense. And again, we need to continue to fine tune the budget as it continues to be a work in progress. All right. And our net income, again, for the year was $37,000. All right. Now I want to take you through a comparative study. All right. And my goal here, again, is to provide property owners a better understanding of how your dues is being spent. Again, I'm going to examine 3 parts of Fairfield Harbor's profit and loss statement. All right. I'm going to compare fiscal year 2020 to fiscal year 2023. And again, as I mentioned, this is not apples to apples. All right. We're going to take a look at rounds of golf. We'll take a look at gross income, our labor and operations expense, our interest expense, depreciation, and amortization, and our capital improvements and capital reserve. All right. So again, let's take a look at gross income. All right. We had 3.6 million in fiscal year 20. All right. In fiscal year 23, we're up to almost 4.7 million for a better than a $1 million gain on that. All right. Our total labor, all right, went up about 427,000. Our operational expense went up 373,000. Where total expenses now went up $800,000. All right. Our earnings before interest, depreciation, and amortization. All right. It was $1,083,000 in 2020. It's better than $1.3 million, or an increase of $263,000. And again, now you're taking a look at your total interest and depreciation, where in 2020 it was $739,000. Okay, and in fiscal year 23, it was close to $1.3 million. All right, I want to take you through the rounds of golf. All right, the total rounds of golf in fiscal year 20, right, was 17,000. All right, in fiscal year 23, it's up almost to 18,000, or an increase of 654 rounds, or 4%. Our total revenue, all right, again, is up by $1.2 million. All right, and that's caused by the increase in dues, and as regular dues and non-dues. That $1.2 million can be broken down. That $840,000 of that is your dues. All right, the other $390,000 is from non-dues and other income. All right, go back. All right, but I want to take a look at the rounds of golf here, okay? In 2019, there were roughly 13,000 rounds of golf. In 2020, it went up to 17,000. That 4,000 increase was a result of COVID. People wanted to get out of the house. You know, they're on the golf course and stuff. Perhaps they're not working. All right, because businesses are shut down. All right, but COVID has caused that increase. All right, in 2021, it went down to 20,000. In 22, it went down to 19,000. And in 23, it went down to 18,000. But again, I want to point to 23, all right, that it was down 1,000 because in April and May, all right, we were down 1,000 rounds, particularly just for those 2 months. All right, but if you go from 2019 to 2023, we're up 38% in rounds of golf. All right, now I want to take a look at our expenses. All right, and what you're going to see here is that our total labor costs jumped 427,000 or 40%. Some of that is because you now have a full functioning restaurant where in 2020, all right, you opened for basically 3 months and then you had to close and did takeout orders only. All right, so now we're back to a full functioning restaurant. Obviously, there's more labor costs and there's other labor costs that also make up that as well. All right, but I want to point you to some of these bigger items here. All right, those are general and administrative expenses up about 85,000. All right, our legal expense is actually down, but our maintenance is up 192,000. Now I got notes on that. All right, on the maintenance of 192,000. We have tree stump removal that went from 15,000 to 107,000, which 15,000 in 2020 to 107,000 in 2023, or an increase of $92,000. Our insecticides, fungicides, fertilizers, seed went from 78,000 to 131,000, or an increase of 53,000. Our gas and diesel went from 27,000 to 44,000, or again, an increase of about $17,000. All right, and that's roughly about 162 of the 192 increase. All right, between 2020 and 2023. All right, our food and beverage, you can see, had gone up. And again, when you're looking at 2020, you're looking at takeout orders, not a full-blown restaurant that's open, 5 days a week. All right. Equipment leases. All right. This is really an interesting point here. Our equipment leases are down by $104,000, from $112,000 to $78,000. The reason for that is because we used to lease equipment, which means that you give a monthly payment. All right. Once that lease is done, the equipment goes away and you have to get a new lease. All right, this board changed that process. They went from a regular, basically what we call renting lease, to what we call a capital lease. And what a capital lease is, you're going to be able to own the equipment after the amortization schedule. And I don't know if it's 5 years. I'm not sure. I haven't seen the amortization schedule. All right, but what you're going to see here is that we have to amortize. Not only do we pay for the equipment, but we also have to amortize it, all right? Which means that after 5 years, okay, that we own the equipment, it's fully amortized, it comes off your financials, All right. So basically you get a double whammy here. You get the charge and then you get the amortization charge. So when you see a difference in net income, all right, which shows 2020 at like 338,000, and then you see 2023 at 37,000. This is one of the reasons why. All right, because we have to double up on both the amortization and the cost of the lease itself. All right. And I also mentioned about insurance, which is up about $68,000. Again, this year went up $42,000. It was over budget. Next slide. All right. So again, now we're taking a look at the interest expense and depreciation. And if you go through here, I'm going to pick out some highlights. Okay, our interest expense on capital leases went up to $60,000 from $2,800. And again, that's because we have capital leases that we have to pay for, and we're amortizing at the same time. All right, and I want to point you to this interest on a loan. In 2020, the interest on a loan was $123,000. It's down to $50,000. The reason for that is because this board went and took the 385 loan at 6%, all right, and they refinanced at 4.2%. So this $73,000 you see here is the savings right off to that loan, all right? We have plans to pay off this loan 2 years early, which is going to generate and make this number well exceed $100,000. All right, just by being able to refinance the loan. I hope people refinance their homes at the time when the interest rates were down, because you would have achieved that same savings on your mortgage. All right. And one of the last items I want to look here is capital reserve. Okay, capital improvements. All right. In 2020, all right, they spent $366,000. All right. In 2023, we spent $196,000. All right. That's $529,000 more. Okay. Than 2020. That is where the increases in your dues is being spent. All right. It's being spent on the improvements to Birdland Marina. Okay. On the golf paths and also on the seawall. Next slide, please. All right, so let's take a look at, a lot of people want to know about our reserves. All right, so I'm going to take you through again, the reserves here. The contribution to the replacement fund in 2020, as I mentioned, was $336,000. The contributions in 2023 was $595,000, or an increase of close to $259,000. All right. Contributions here to the contingency fund is $30,000. All right, we made contributions of $12,000. However, what we've done is, instead of putting it into a contingency fund, we're putting into a loan reserve of $50,000, which is going to be used to pay off the 385 loan, and again generate savings. Okay, through that loan of probably another $25,000-$30,000 or so. All right. All right. Next, we have our Harbour Club. All right. We spent about close to $176,000 for the architectural study. All right. And if you take a look at capital improvement on buildings, it's $55,000. All right. And that's basically for the maintenance lot. Okay. That's right behind us over here. However, while it looks like $55,000, we got $20,000 back from the fiber company on that. All right, that they gave us back. So that's actually $30,000. All right, so let's take a look at future projections. All right, I want to address some rumors here. All right. First of all, POA dues will not be going up to $2,000 as rumored on Facebook. All right. Also, there's no additional dues increases for the Harbour Club. All right. Those 3-year increases at $100 funds the annual loan principal and interest payments for the next 15 years. The Harbour Club loan is a fixed rate. and is not subject to inflationary increase. If interest rates come down in the future, we will seize the opportunity to refinance the loan and to achieve further savings on the loan's interest expense like we did for the 385 loan. It's not done yet. They're going to address the Harbor Club. I'm not addressing, they're going to address the Harbor Club. All right.
So I'm going to call order. Kevin, if you will just go ahead and finish your presentation,
Sure.
But please save your questions for the Q&A. Thank you.
Okay, the additional.
We have a point of order, Kevin. Yes.
Stated this board decided the production of the budget.
No, the POA board, they refinance. All right, the additional fiscal year 23 dues increase of $122. Okay, will fund the remaining 2.8 million in infrastructure replacement costs, which covers 3,200 feet of seawall, the Shoreline Marina, the Harbor Point Golf Course, Shoreline Marina Pass, with no further dues increases for these projects. Okay, this $122 will also reduce the completion schedule for these projects from 10 years to 5 to 6 years, thereby eliminating the future inflationary expenses in those future years. While inflation increased about 20% over the past 3 years, there was no inflationary dues increase passed on to property owners. Okay, with this present budget, I believe we can work within it and be flexible and adjust accordingly to avoid dues increases in the near future. All right. However, no one can promise that there wouldn't be increases in the future, and to do so is fiscally irresponsible. We cannot predict the future. Hurricane Florence and COVID should have taught us that. All right. But we can work to manage our funds and address the issues as they arise. Thank you.
Okay, Phyllis Wiltrout. We lost Phyllis this past year. And the Board of Directors intends to draft a resolution to induct Phyllis Wiltrout into the Fairfield Harbor Hall of Fame for her instrumental service through the years to Fairfield Harbor. Harbor Helpers was her brainchild. Phyllis managed Harbour Helpers for 15 years. Phyllis and her husband, John, have taken the concept of helping to a new level, providing services for those in need of a helping hand at Fairfield Harbor. Many people here have called and received rides for appointment, grocery shopping, and other errands, as well as those little things around the house that just needs a neighbor's hand, like changing a light bulb. Harbor Helpers also provides an avenue for many volunteers to provide a helping hand for their neighbors. Phyllis was also named the 2022 Grand Marshal of the Christmas Parade to honor her contributions to Fairfield. Let's have a round of applause for Phyllis.
Call on Rhonda.
Okay, at this time,
We're, as parliamentarian, I'm going to call on the accountant, Tom Monty. You're going to hand the results, I believe, to Rhonda, the POA secretary. I just want to introduce you to Tom Monty with Carr, Riggs and Ingram. His firm is the accounting firm that certified the election results. Tom, thank you for being with us again. And we're getting used to the new electronic voting, which did that go fairly well? I've heard it has.
Yes, ma'am. Very well. Once we figured out the kinks, we being the board and the staff have figured out for next year. It has been very well. Yes, well worth it.
And I think we've had record ballots turned in the last two votes that you've had, both this election and the recall election that you had.
Yes, ma'am. Well over 1,000. And before you were lucky if you got close to 1,000.
So the electronic voting is going well. Thank you so much. And if you will give those certified results to Rhonda Miller, your secretary, I'll call on Rhonda to announce the two new directors who have been elected to fill the vacancies.
As you saw, Tom gave me a sealed envelope with the results in. No one on the POA board or the staff know the outcome. Only Tom from the CPA firm Carr Riggs Ingram knows the results.
Before she opens the piece of paper, the way it's written, the first four names are in alphabetical order and their total votes. And then underneath that is the top two vote getters. So when you open it up, the middle's got everybody alphabetically. Underneath it has their names. So I don't want you to start reading and all of a sudden get the wrong names.
In alphabetical order, it was Chris Barajas, 841. Phil Hewitt, 611. Don Moore, 856. John Rothengas, 614.
Thank you, Rhonda, and thank you. Congratulations to the two new directors. And now those directors will be sworn in. And Rhonda, are you going to read so Chris and Don, if you can come forward to be sworn in.
Raise your right hand, please. Repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly agree to abide by the Declaration of Restrictions and the bylaws of Fairfield Harbour, and to abide by the restrictions that apply to the POA Board of Directors. I further agree to exercise my obligations and fiduciary responsibilities. Thank you.
Good job. Go ahead. Go to the next slide. You want a question? Yeah. So I'm going to thank you. Congratulations. And now we're going to move into the final portion of the evening so everybody can get to the air conditioning. I'm going to call on Tina to just tee up the Q&A, and then I'll serve as parliamentarian, and she'll tell you, let's have order, please. If people have waited a long time to ask questions. So let's go ahead and get to that. Tina.
Okay. As usual, before each question, please state your name, your address, and how long you have been a homeowner here. And one question per person, and we will not be timing you tonight. However, please be brief and be specific with your question, and be respectful of the other people who are waiting to ask a question. And Hope will be helping monitor our question and answer session. So if you would come up to the microphone where Larry's standing right there in the middle and ask your question. And thank you for your.
Are there any questions? Let's see a show of hands because I don't see anybody stand. Yes, ma'am. Come on to the microphone.
I'd like to actually make a.
Can you tell us your name and where you live?
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Jennifer Jump. At 6203 Albatross. We've owned since 2019. And I want to make a statement. It's not really a question, but it's to all of us. We need to be more kind.
We recently transitioned and moved here from Northeast, and the transition has not been nice. This community is so segregated and separated, and I know this vote was very important, but let's go forward today and start being kind to the new neighbors. I was literally chased down 2 weeks ago, accused falsely of something, and I didn't appreciate it, and I'm a new neighbor. How welcome did I feel? And it was
If you hold it closer, it will not squelch. There you go.
How welcome did I feel? I was insulted. I was upset. My daughter was on the phone and heard the interaction. Let's be kind. I met 2 new neighbors today from Ohio who just moved here. They asked me as I'm walking my dogs this morning, hey, do you live on our road? No, but I know who they are. I know their children already. And I made them feel welcome. Can we please stop the bickering, stop the nonsense, and let's be kind? Because that's what I like about the community when I bought here in 2019. And that's what we're missing. And I'm not going to point fingers. The person's here. They know who they are. And I'm still waiting for the apology. But we need to be kind. If you see a neighbor who maybe didn't do something that you liked, go talk to them. Have a cup of coffee before you accuse them. Let's be kind.
Thank you so much. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am. Come on forward.
Hi. Hi, can you hear me? I'm Kathy Belrose. I live on Barbary Coast Drive. And the question
Closer, a little bit closer.
Closer?
A little closer.
Can you guys hear me now? All right. So my question is this. Is there going to be a vote on the new clubhouse? That's one thing. And the second question is there going to be a vote on the clubhouse? And then if we do have a vote and it goes through, whether the POA office will be moved there?
So is your question whether there will be a membership vote or whether there will be a board vote?
Whether there will be a homeowner vote.
Okay, that has not yet been determined, but as Ms. Albertini said, one of the very first agenda items for this newly seated board will be to take up the issue of the Harbor Club, and then I'm sure they will publish how it's going to proceed.
Do you mean by that they're going to discuss whether we're going to vote on that? Or
I would imagine that everything is on the table, whether to move forward with the Harbor Club, whether to close on the loan that has been offered by the bank for the Harbor Club, whether or not they want to ask the membership further questions. But from a legal standpoint, and I don't know if you have heard this before, but I will say that your covenants nor bylaws call for a membership vote.
I understand that, but the vote or not having a vote is causing a lot of issues. I think most of us want to have a vote and just see, do we want it or not as a community? And we will all go with a vote.
Okay, thank you.
We will. I think everyone can agree that even if my opinion, I don't get what I want, then too bad, so sad. We voted and everyone got a say and everyone has to support that afterward.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Jeff Schuler, I live at 1600 Caracara, been here a little over a year. This new fiber, I have a question about that. You guys are talking about doing an internal network and having your own broadcasting and that kind of stuff. For those of us that aren't going to go with this new fiber, are you still going to stream the meetings, or are you only going to be exclusive to the people that are on the fiber and choose to pay the higher price than what I'm paying now?
Has that? I'm hearing that has not yet been determined. So
okay.
That's something, a good point for the board to consider.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Luis Paterno. I live at 810 Helm Drive. And my question is, are we going back to night board meetings for the membership? And I think I could speak for pretty much everyone here that is what we as a community would like to see is going back to night board meetings.
Has that been determined? That has not, that's something else that the new board can take under consideration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, do I hear a motion to adjourn? I have a motion to adjourn from Ms. Simpson. Any opposed? We stand adjourned. Thank you very much.